Hi, I'm Caleb. I'm a cardist, and I'm interviewing other cardists to see how and why they create, so we can learn how to grow as a community. Welcome to Cardistry Talk. Hello everybody, just want to give some updates for starters. If you guys didn't know, I do have a Discord, and if you guys join right now, you guys are going to be able to watch the videos and interviews early. I'm going to be posting them as soon as I edit them as unlisted videos, and you can check them out and get access to them early there. So definitely join the Discord server if you haven't. I also just want to thank everybody that has bought a Cardistry Talk t-shirt. If you want one, you can still pick them up. They're always going to be available, and they're at a very affordable price. So thank you guys for watching, and let's talk to Braum. Welcome back to episode 22. Today I'm joined by Bram Duifhuizen. Oh my gosh, I'm really bad at pronouncing last names, but I'm really happy to have Braum on the show. He is an amazing cardist. He has a solo performance up on YouTube called Square Dance, and he also has a dozen or so moves on Instagram that have some really nice flow to it. I'm really excited to have Braum on the show. This is also my first international guest, I believe. So he's from the Netherlands as opposed to the United States. So I'm super excited to kind of broaden that horizon, and I'm really excited to talk with Braum about some cards. And I think we'll get some interesting topics of conversation. So Braum, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I am excited for this. I think people will have some interesting takeaways from you. So just opening up with the main question that I'm going to ask everybody. What's kind of Braum's origin story in cardistry? How did you kind of get started in the hobby?
Yeah, I'm actually quite new to cards, actually. I originally started with card throwing for like 3 months around the end of 2016. And then I kind of, I just continued throwing cards because I thought it was cool, and my friends started learning it as well. And then I was like, okay, this is kind of getting boring. Let's see, what can I do with cards that is a little more like that won't ruin my cards. It might be fun. So I just searched some magic tricks up. I learned a few. This magic trick stuff was around 2017 mid, and I got really hooked. Started learning so many tricks, and I just tried to get really good at it. But then eventually, uh, magic started getting boring for me. So around the end of 2017, I picked up cardistry, and I kind of was just messing around with uh, the most basic stuff. Like, I guess I was trying to learn phased, but I just sucked at it. I was just doing random stuff. But then around, I think at the end of 2018, that's when I first started creating. That's when I made my first cut.
I think it's interesting when you first started with throwing cards, because I don't think that's how. I mean, obviously you say you have like some magic in there. Yeah. I think most people go just straight magic to cardistry, so it's interesting to have like another layer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's for most cardists that they just start with magic and then they come by cardistry and they get into that.
I think it's exciting though that we're seeing more people start with cardistry instead of just magic. I feel like that used to never be a thing, but now it's like it's a little bit of a thing. You'll hear it every once in a while, especially for like more recent cardists. So I mean, 2018 is pretty. Oh, it's 2021 now. I was about to say 2018 is pretty recent, but for such a early cardist and competing with some of the big names or the people that have been doing this for let's say a decade, because some people have been at this point, which is insane. First off, I would just want to say I really enjoy some of your stuff. I think it's really complex and great, and I think a lot of people find enjoyment out of it. But for like tournaments and things like that, how do you think packet cuts do you think packet cuts kind of almost come as a disadvantage to all genre type contests? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I think I think I think that is true. That packet cuts, I think packet cuts are one of those things that are more of the advanced genre, because I think things like fans and spreads and displays are easily understood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even if they have a cool mechanic, I think most people who are starting out in cardistry uh, will immediately get why that move is cool. Um, but I think with packet cuts, there's a different dynamic
Mm-hmm.
in creating cuts, and I think people uh, react differently to packet cuts because people know how much effort is put into a cut,
Mm-hmm.
and when they see a cool packet interaction, um, they'll usually react very highly on that because they know how difficult that is to come by. Because packet interactions is one of those things that is just completely physics. It's just you can experiment with grips, different angles of your hands and different fingers,
Mm-hmm.
even with your palm. I've been experimenting with my with different parts of my hand. Like I've been trying to do stuff with my palm. Um, so yeah, I think for argument's sake, I'll probably use the Cardistry Touch $1,000 move contest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there were so many different type of genres in that contest, but I think this time, well, of course, this time um, a packet cutter won.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one where he had like the two Vesper closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, but I think it was like I think that is one of those cuts that was easy to understand because there's a nice and compact
Mm-hmm.
moment to it. But I think cuts like Muzzle Flash, I think it was, by Trin CHMGK or something. You know him?
I know the username. I can't. I won't be able to picture them. There's
Yeah.
so many
It's like
moves.
he had this 5 packet cut, and I was like, what the hell? How did I was just so satisfied with how he did that closer and how he just got into perching that packet and then moving it over his thumb, and then closing into like a Tootsie Roll. You know what the Tootsie Roll move by Beckett?
No.
It's like a wait, sorry. I think it is like something like that or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like he flips that deck with a by just letting it fall over his thumb and then catching it. And I was like, what? This is gonna have like I thought that packet cut was gonna go. It was gonna get into the top three probably,
Mm-hmm.
or if not top 10. But then I saw the top 20, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then the top 10, we didn't see Trin on that list, and I was, and then I felt like, okay, I can kind of see a pattern in how just some people don't understand packet cuts and um, why that may be. Um, I also in the Cardistry Championship of 2019,
Mm-hmm.
Leo and Sib, they had pretty cool videos with packet cuts. They're mainly packet cutters, but I think in the feedback, I think it's still on the website. Um,
Yeah.
you can see that uh, some judges like Jaspis is not in particular a packet cutter. He's more of a overall kind of guy. Um, but you can kind of see in their feedback that they don't really get what was so special about their packet cuts. And I think that's kind of unfortunate considering how cool a packet cutter can be if you get why it's cool.
Mm-hmm. You almost need like a level of appreciation for packet cutting. Like you almost need to have a knowledge of what's been done and what hasn't been done and
Yeah.
what's unique to like fully appreciate a packet cut.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you see this all the time with just, I guess you would call them lay people, but people that don't know cardistry, like they're instantly going to react better to a spring or a fan, most likely, than a packet cut because they have no basis of understanding like what a packet cut is.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't know if that like somehow flows over to people in cardistry as well. I'm not going to pretend like I'm like super knowledgeable about packet cuts because most of my moves are rather simple, I believe, compared to people like you or Greg or
your moves are like kind of I can see there's a lot of inspiration from Berger Carlson. Like I see you do a lot of move to leg kind of thing.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of big motion.
A soccer. I played soccer. I have a soccer background, so like I like to try to incorporate as much foot stuff as I can because I don't think as much people have as much coordination with their feet as I do.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first got back into cardistry, that's like what my main focus was like, okay, let's figure out some feet stuff. But a lot of my moves are more like stunt based. I don't really have like these big pieces that you can like dig your teeth into. And I think that a lot of that comes with style and like creating your own style. But do you have any tips for people who like want to create their own style or kind of like have a different style that stands out from the rest in cardistry?
I mean, I can't tell somebody how to make their own style.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you how I got around to it. I kind of started out just looking at my favorite cardists like Oliver and Sib and Olaf Adams, and I just kind of stole mechanics from them. That's how I kind of started out. I just stole grips and this that, and it kind of looked very similar to their cuts. But over time, I just noticed that my packet cuts were a lot like theirs, but they were changing into something else. They're more a mix of what I wanted my cuts to look like, and of what my inspiration was. So I think it's just a matter of time and just a matter of who your inspiration is and just how you want, like what genre you want to go into, and like that basically.
Yeah, I think to start off with, I would say just like try to, for most people, I think mimicking like some of the better people. It's just like try to make a move that like Tobias would make or Oliver would make, and then slowly branch off from that. Because if you don't have any basis, like when you're first starting out, like it's you're not gonna really get anywhere if you don't have like a general framework to work it out.
I think.
Then I was gonna say something else.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was good, and now I'm blanking on it. Oh, and then I just want to say too, like what I've found, and I don't know if you found this, but like oftentimes what I input or like what I watch, like affects what I output. So like there was a while there where I was just watching Oliver Sogard, the video for Form. I can't think of what it's called. But I kept watching that, and then like I made a two-handed interlock move that was like kind of similar to one of his moves. And I find like what you watch, like whether you realize it or not, a lot of times comes out in what you make.
Yeah.
If you found that at all.
Yeah. I usually have like these. I guess my creative process is based off of what comes out. Um, okay, because I kind of need a basis of something to build around of. So uh, I usually have the most drive when a new video comes out. Um, I so like usually in between the release of a video and the release of another video, I'll usually have a little bit of a drive, and then I'll have like this huge block for quite some time, because my moves kind of complete themselves in a way. My most of my cuts kind of like my move tachycardia. I kind of made that in a night. It wasn't like I thought it was going to be. Like I had the opener, and I was just playing around at night, and I just pushed the packet through my index and middle finger, and it just became a really cool cut, and people liked it. So I'm kind of happy that it worked out. But that kind of happens with a lot of my cuts. They kind of morph into something really cool. But sometimes with cuts, it's just really hard. Sometimes you'll have really cool opener, but just you won't have a middle part, and it just kind of sucks. And that's kind of like where I usually get stuck. I have a really hard time making middle parts. When I have a opener, I'll usually have a closer too, but there'll be some beats missing, like some like a extra part in the cut. But that's usually where I get stuck. I just kind of yeah. So that's why I kind of need something to branch off of when creating something.
That's interesting. I feel like I never have like the closer. Like I always have to like go in order. And like I don't know. I'm happy that you said that you can like make stuff in like a night or something, because that's what I do too. And like I was talking with like Greg and like Beckett, and they take like months to think out moves, and I like man, like I wish I could be that complex, like think that hard or have enough patience, especially for something like that.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I think I get like almost bored in a sense creating sometimes if it's longer than like 3 hours or something. Like if it's more than one night, really long night.
Yeah. Isn't yeah. There are some moves that just I make in like a week or so, but I think it was one move, I can't remember which one it was. It was Podosite. It's in my square dance video. It's the last move. That one took one hell of a long time to make. I had the opener, and it was very. I thought it was a very nice theme of tumbling, just package just falling into place. But then I just couldn't really figure out a cohesive closer for it. So I think I kind of went from different closers, but I think around April I kind of finalized a closer for it. But then a few weeks before I was filming Square Dance, I was second guessing the closer. So I started changing it again. I had a lot of ideas for the closer, but eventually I just sticked with the original one. And that's the one you're seeing in the video. Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is a little personal question, but how often do you doubt like the things you create, whether it's good or not, or whether it's like good enough? Like, is that because I feel like a lot of artists are pretty hard on themselves, I guess you could say, or yeah, I would say hard on themselves, like overthinking whether something's good or not?
In like the moves for square dance, those are the moves that I was making when I was still trying to figure out how to create, or like figuring out how I create and figuring out my own style. So I was constantly asking people what they think about it. So eventually I made an account, a private account for my saved moves. I got a bunch of people on that account and I'll ask them, what do you think of this and that and this and that? Is this closer good enough? Or does this need an extra beat or something? So all the moves from Square Dance, I at the time I did not like have the confidence in myself to say this is good enough, or to say like I know this is good. So I didn't really have cuts that were completely saved, like secret from everybody. But I think after Square Dance, I made a few moves and I was a bit more confident in myself in what was going to fit in that move. So yeah, I think after my solo video, I kind of got a little bit more confident in what I was creating, which is also the reason I haven't posted on that account in a while, because I kind of have an idea of what is like cohesive.
When you're making moves now, do you have because I think there's two kind of schools of thought. There's like Instagram, and then there's the saving it for like a bigger performance video. I think there's a couple people that break away from that, like Eric Cardistry kind of makes like stuff that's kind of in the middle. But when you create a move, are you thinking that you want to show it off immediately, or are you trying to save it for like a really big, very impactful video?
Well, for the moves I have saved now, I'm kind of contemplating on saving them, but there's also like this urge of posting them. So usually when I make a move, I think it's just I'll see what happens. It's usually not that I have like a plan in mind of what to do with the move. It's usually I'll decide like what to do with the move when it's finished, or when it's somewhat finished. With the moves I have now, they are quite good in my opinion. But I'm going to post them soon because I don't really enjoy saving moves, because it's kind of, I don't know how to say this, but it's like it kind of makes you impatient with creating, I guess. In a way, in the long run. I guess because saving is something when you save a move, it's usually because you think the move is really good and you want to save it for some future content, like a video for some brand or just for yourself. But I think when you save, it's more just eventually the creating other moves doesn't really become as fun for me. So that's why after Square Dance, I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to save as much as I did. So for the moves that I have now, I'm going to post them soon, or release them, I don't know, in a video or something.
How do you kind of get inspired to create? What are some inspirations for when you perform artistry?
Okay, I think it's just when it's usually because I have a lot of I have quite a few people I talk with consistently on Instagram, and they'll show me a move, and I'll kind of I'll have it in the back of my mind, and usually when I look at a move, I'll usually rewatch it a few times to really look at it and see what I can potentially steal.
Mm-hmm.
I think with most moves that I see, I kind of look at them and then maybe I'll just forget them a few hours later. But I think with cuts from Oliver and my close friends in Cardistry, I'll usually get inspired from that instead of like random posts I'll see. I think it's more of who you prefer to take from, because the people I talk to usually have a very similar style or branch in packet cutting that I do.
Do you find music kind of plays a key role for you? I know it does for a lot of people.
Kind of. I think music is more of a for me. It's more of a um, assist to figure out a flow for a move.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I had one move. It's saved, but I have one move where I where I kind of stole like the rhythm of the song and tried to incorporate that into my cut.
Yeah.
I think it had a lyric. It was a lyric like it was from Lil Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
It was like something like, "I'm out of my coffin, narcotic abuse, or no needles, cause my pocket's balloon and your partner's is poodles," or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just the rhythm was really cool to me, so I thought, what if I pause at the moments where he finishes a line? So I've been experimenting with flow a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll probably see that in my newer cuts. You'll see a bit more, like, I think you'll see that the mechanics complement the flow in a way. Um, but I think music is more of it's basically just an assist to flow for me, but it's not just, I can't really take any inspiration mechanically from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just more, you'll either consciously or subconsciously take inspiration from the music you listen to.
I think that's a really cool concept to me, at least, like basing the tempo of a move around like beats, whether it's
Yeah.
uh, or like a flow from music.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. Something like I've never thought about trying to do. I think
Yeah.
most people, they kind of try to go at like one speed for their move. Like
Yeah.
just, I don't think many people try to have different increments of tempo and speed.
Yeah. I think um, I think there was a time. I mean, I haven't been along. I haven't been around for long, but from what I've seen, I from just scrolling through accounts, I think there was a time where um, uh, flow was. I think there were two types of flow. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was the back and forth flow, and then you had the continuous motions flow.
Super fast.
Yeah, super fast. Like you can compare, like the back and forth flow would be Maverick um,
Mm-hmm.
by Oliver, and then maybe the continuous flow would be uh, I don't know which move, oh, like Heritage maybe. That will be a more continuous
Mm-hmm.
flow. Like I need not entirely, because
Uh,
that move is pretty. It goes in and out more. It's
yeah.
not back and forth, but the
Maybe
packets
something
go.
like squoze or
Yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, but I think now um, flow kind of looks very identical to each other.
Mhm.
I think the only cardist that kind of has a great balance between flow and um, mechanics is Leo, because he has very, I don't know, I think he's just so smooth with his performances that he just has just this natural little flow. But I'm excited to see what he puts out in his above the radar video. Maybe we'll see something cool, I guess. If that makes any sense. I think that didn't make a lot of sense.
No, it did. I had like this gap of like 5 or 6 years where like I wasn't really into cardistry. So like there was like 2 years where I did cardistry, this 5 or 6 year gap, and then like mid COVID I came back to cardistry.
Yeah.
And like early on in those early years when I was first learning cardistry, like there's one speed, and that was you try to go as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Was basically the
Yeah.
goal. And I
Mhm.
found it interesting when I came back that we've almost slowed down on purpose so that we can comprehend like what is actually happening.
Yeah.
Because like going really fast, like it looks cool, but you have no clue you can't see what's
Yeah.
going on. And like, I mean, I guess if you look at that, it might be how like laymen look at packet cuts and stuff in general, where they don't really know what's going on, but they just
Yeah.
know something's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
But I find it interesting, and I think it makes total sense how we have slowed down and almost gone for smoothing things out and like showcasing what is actually happening. But I
Yeah.
just think it's really interesting how that shift has happened in the recent years, and I think it's part of the reason that cardistry has grown so much is you can appreciate it better because you actually can see what's going on.
Yeah. I think people who are a bit more have been into cardistry a bit longer are the ones who will appreciate, and this sounds very obvious, but people who kind of been along for quite some time, I think, will just appreciate cuts even more than the average cardist.
Mhm.
Um,
I think, I mean, and this is just like with anything in general, but like I'll relate it to like sports. Like if you don't know the rules of a sport, it's a lot harder to enjoy or understand it. But like once you've like watched some cardistry or like have like a deeper knowledge, like you can appreciate it better because you have
yeah.
some form of understanding about what's happening, what's difficult, and
Yeah.
and I think that's why like a lot of like we were talking about earlier, a lot of laymen or however you would want to say it, like don't really understand packet cuts. It's because they don't have a framework to base it off of.
You're saying like you can't appreciate once you appreciate the rules, you appreciate the game even more. Like that, yeah. Um, yeah, I think that can uh, like go with a lot of parts of cardistry. But I think Leo said something about cardistry is kind of like music. Once you know the rules of music, you can break them and bend them in a way.
Mm-hmm.
He said something like, I think once you know what you're doing, I think then you can think as outside the box. I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I might be, I think I'm still like in that phase of still trying to understand everything. Um, I don't think I'm at the highest level of understanding yet, but I do feel like I might get there one day, you know? But yeah, I think it's just more of how fast you understand cardistry is, I think that depends on who's in your circle, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think if you just have people in your circle who are about as experienced as you, that you kind of just go with the flow together, and you might just bounce ideas off of each other. And I think that might just affect the way you think about cardistry.
So at the end of the show, I usually like to do what I call the rapid round of questions. This is a 3-minute time period where the goal is just to answer as many random questions as quickly as possible. Right now, Greg has the new record. He absolutely smashed it last time. He's very passionate about it for some reason.
Okay.
Which I'm happy about. But the plus 21. So I'm just going to bring up those questions, and then we can jump into this if you're ready.
Okay.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite musician or band?
Kendrick Lamar.
Android or iPhone?
I have an Android.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Have you ever broken a bone?
No. I'm very careful.
Favorite type of food?
Ooh. I like anything that's Italian, really.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite deck of cards at the moment?
I really like the entire deck from Deal Script.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This kind of goes in hand with one of the previous questions. Do you have a favorite restaurant?
Ooh. No.
Favorite TV show right now?
Suits.
What was it?
Suits.
What would the title of your autobiography be?
Duifhuizen.
Toilet paper over or under?
Like with the peel outside, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can grab it, like yeah.
Over, yeah.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation. I think you already asked that.
Did I? My bad.
Yeah.
These the wheel doesn't like stop at ones I have already done. Anyways, do pineapples belong on pizza?
Fuck yeah. I love pineapple on my pizza.
If you could have coffee with any Disney character, who would it be?
I have no idea.
All right. We can
Next
pass.
question.
I think that's something I can do. If an actor portrayed you in a movie, who would you want it to be?
God damn it.
You did I'm not sure obviously because I'll have to tally it up and edit, but
Yeah.
I feel like that was better than most people. There was one or two, like the coffee with the Disney character one, you kind of got frozen on. But
I had no idea.
everybody, thank you for watching. I want to thank Braum for being on the show. Obviously, I feel like there's a lot of insightful information here, hopefully, for you guys. At the end of the show, I usually like to do what I call roll out the close-up pad, which is just a way of saying, is there anything that you would like to promote or any last bit of nugget that you would want to give the audience?
No.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I'll just say, just like always, links to all of Braum's stuff will be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not, you can find me on Instagram or YouTube and you can get the lowdown of everything that Braum's done. I'll have a link to his performance video and to his Instagram, etc. So, oh, there goes my wake up alarm. In
case I overslept. But Braum, thank you for being on the show. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.